Good, everybody.
What's going on? What's power? How we doing
Yeah.
today? Welcome to the live stream.
Black
We're going
and
to give
White.
it about a good 10, 15 minutes to get everybody in here.
Mm-hmm. Let
For
me
those of y'all
see.
who do not know me, I go by the DarksKing Poet. My co-host is Nero Angelo.
Yes, sir. What's good? Hold on. Edit privacy, public. That way I can send this mug over. Group. Let's see. Double. I'm sending it to the group.
Cool.
Yeah, I just have to. I just have to remember to set it as public first. Otherwise, that causes some issues. So,
Got you. I feel you. I smell you.
yep. I'm gonna send it to a few things. That way we get some visibility. Let's see.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are talking double standards.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This was actually something that was already on my mind, but suggested to me by my older brother. So we're gonna get into it.
Mm-hmm. About to see if we're on YouTube. We are.
Oh yeah, I'm already shipping that link out.
Yeah, just send it to our little group. And then
Let me go ahead and
that way everybody got options of where to go.
you didn't hear that Facebook sound go off, did you?
No, I can't say I did.
Okay. Just making sure we want to make sure the audio quality is good for y'all. No random interruptions
So
and
far,
what have you.
so far we're sounding pretty good. Come on, stop being over. Let's see. I'm gonna just cut. Man, shit.
Thank you for those of y'all who are joining us. Let us know how we sound. If we
Yes.
sound good, say we sound good or leave us a 1. If we sound bad, say it's bad or leave us a 2. Wherever you're watching, whether you're watching from Facebook or whether you're watching from YouTube, that is where we're streaming at. We're also on Twitter and Periscope, or Twitter basically as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, I think Periscope just runs through Twitter, but yeah.
Go ahead and share
I'm gonna have
this.
to see how that works. But yeah. Yep.
We are talking double standards, ladies and gentlemen.
Double standards. This is gonna be good. Again, we are sorry. Well, I'm sorry for the shenanigans of trying to get this together last time. It was an adventure to say the least. Hold on, let me set this mic down. Probably be able to hear me a little bit more clearly if it's here. I was recording earlier, so that's why it's doing that.
Got you. How y'all doing? Let's see. Go ahead. Also, you guys, for those of y'all who missed it, we are launching merchandise. What is merchandise, you ask?
Merchandise.
T-shirts, mugs,
Should I go ahead and post the link?
posters. Yeah, sure. I'm about to post some stuff in there as well, just so y'all know where to cop everything. We'll also be updating the Flow site as well, so it also shows up on there because that's the main link that we ship. 9 times out of 10, that's the link that pretty much takes you to everything that is black in a minute.
Yeah.
If you guys in the background, I am on vacation at my brother's house, and he has my niece and nephew,
Oh, that's
and
them babes.
now them babies,
Them babes.
them babies. But Yeah, you guys. The first link is our merchandise. The second link is where to follow the podcast and everything.
Right.
So there's that. Go ahead and wait on that in the background. Hope everybody's doing good this morning. Let's see. Let me turn on my data. Some of my messages aren't sending.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, y'all, this afternoon we are talking double standards on a Saturday.
On a Saturday. Saturday.
Due to popular demand and just things that we planned on doing in the future anyway, we are going to start doing more streams during the week.
Hmm.
Um, what they may primarily consist of, though, are solo streams where either myself or Nero will talk to you guys about other various topics and things that are on our mind. They might not be
Yeah.
as long as our standard live streams just because it's going to be typically, but not always, one of us. But nonetheless, we'll be talking to y'all.
We won't have each other to beautifully just bounce off of anymore. At least not for this very short time. Once we're both on the same home front, well, it's off to the races. We can do what we want.
Oh yeah, regular schedule will resume next week, but in general, we do look to bring more content to you guys.
Yep.
So there will be future streams between Facebook, YouTube, might even do some Instagram live stuff. We do want to maintain a certain level of organization with it though, and consistency for y'all's sake. So you don't have to think too much. As y'all know, the banner says it on the YouTube page, as well as on the Flow page. Our normal live stream is usually on Thursdays. So Thursday nights between 7 and 7:30 is typically when we stream. But we will be looking to add some other dates in there in the future for other various points of content for y'all because we want to keep y'all entertained, and eventually we want to get to the point where this is our job and this is what we do. And in order to do that, it requires two things. One, that we supply the content that y'all demand, and two, that y'all support the content that you say you want. So there'll also be polls and stuff regarding the audio podcast as well as the live streams and stuff coming. We got the merch. It's the first link in the chat.
Yep.
So, we ready and we willing to serve y'all, the people.
Yes, of course. Look, y'all may not be used to us doing these early streams, but some of these is gonna be like that just to account for some of our schedules, some of the things we may have to do. Um, both of us are encountering changes in our daily schedules, so that's just part and parcel of what's going on. But yeah, this is a new thing for us. We're trying something different, and hopefully, there's more that can be done. you know Hopefully we can definitely make this into something larger and bigger. This might actually also be another good way for us to get guests potentially in the near future, so that way we ain't gotta come find y'all, you know what I'm saying. I mean, it's nice to have in-person guests, we do like that, but you know
Preferably, but
yeah,
we
exactly.
understand people still want to
Yeah,
social distance. People have lives. Everybody's got things they got to do, right?
right.
Um, but yeah, I mean, definitely that is part of what's going to come with this. Guys, if you're in the chat, please definitely like the video, comment, let us
Yep.
know that you're here. Definitely share it as well. The more the merrier. The more input into these discussions, the better. Me and Nero can talk for days, but we
Oh yeah.
also provide this medium as a place for y'all to also share opinions as well. So it's much appreciated. Best believe.
Yes.
So we got three people in here. Who's in here with us? What's popping? What's out? What's power?
Was bracken. Let's see who's all here. Oh, the cool thing is you can actually see where your commenters are from too, like who the viewers are from. So you can see, like, case in point. I think right now, we have two people on Twitter. and then one from Facebook so far.
Did you post the link within our group?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, cool. Go ahead and pin it to the top of it too as well, so
Oh, that's right.
we get everybody, make sure everybody be able to find it.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let me go ahead and pin that as an announcement. Pin to announcements.
But yeah, y'all, double standards. What's
Double
up with it? We're gonna give like another about 5 to 7 minutes before we really get to cooking.
Yep, yep, yep. Get a little bit more going. For those of y'all on Twitter, on my Twitter, because we don't have a group Twitter yet, so I don't know if bro's gonna want to do it. Because this is really just gonna be his wheelhouse for the most part. I'll be dipping out here in about 15. But how are y'all feeling? What do y'all think about these things? And also, please retweet this to anybody who you think might want to hear it. Might want to get an understanding of what's going on. Drop a
Tap in.
like, drop some comments. Let us know a little something, right? Because I don't know exactly how they do engagements on what we call it on Twitter. So let's see. We'll say 18 to 55. Any gender. Next.
Putting my phone and everything on do not disturb, so y'all not chiming my ish off.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Hear the zzz, 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 like yeah, yeah, yeah. But
What's
yeah.
power? How y'all doing?
What's up? What's up? What's up? YouTube ones are slow coming. Let me see. Uh, shoot. While I'm at this, I got a couple things I need to work on. So if y'all hear any random stuff in the back, it's just because I'm working on something for some folks who need things and services from me. Also, if you need beats, hit me up. Let me know. So I do have a fair amount of free time where I'm able to actually kind of do that now. So it's definitely something you'll want to take advantage of because my life's about to get way busier soon. Fun.
Shop Nero Angelo.
Yes, sir. I'll send that link in the comments too. Oh, did I tell you that somebody actually got the Ultra Instinct beat?
Nice.
I was hurt, man. I even told him. I even told the person. I ain't gonna say nothing about it, but I even told him I didn't want to give it up.
Well,
I'm like, don't hurt me, man.
I'm
I
sure
was
you were
like,
compensated.
oh, I was. It still hurts though. It still
It's
hurts
like this
though.
is this is my baby.
It is though. I didn't want to give it up. I ain't gonna lie. I posted it literally for advertisement purposes, and I was just like, dang it. He's like, yo, I want that. I'm like, all right, let's talk. Like, what feelings got hurt?
Man.
Okay.
Hopefully a great song, rap, whatever they intend to use it for is
Right.
put to that.
I certainly hope so. Look, I'm supposed to hear it. I'm supposed to be the first one to hear it anyway. So I'll be
Cool.
able to be the judge of that. That'll be great. Hold on, give me one
Nice.
second. I'm gonna go check on something real quick. Oh, we got 4 people, and one of them is on YouTube. So that means we need a like on YouTube.
What's power? Can we get a like on YouTube? Appreciate you.
We need
Or even
that.
comment and tell us you in here, how we sound. Do we sound good? What's happening?
Goodness.
Uh,
Don't y'all?
Once again, y'all, we have
Don't y'all
launched
like?
merchandise.
Oh,
We have launched merchandise. It is the first link at the top of the chat
Yep.
box.
So peep that. Oh, there's the shirt right here. Actually, gonna try
Uh
and
oh.
get some more test shirts so that way people have them, or if I go into different channels and whatnot. Um, Speaking of such, I think I'll be representing our lovely podcast platform on the Days Grim podcast, and I believe I'll be meeting them on that on the 11th. The 10th or 11th. It is the 11th, yes. So that should be out either that day or the day after. So definitely check that out. That's another local podcast group. They do a lot of good work. They connect with a whole lot of different people here in the city. So that's what's up. You know what I mean? But we ain't trying to just be living into the city. We want to become statewide and then nationwide and then hopefully global. That'd be nice. Wouldn't that be nice?
Right. Right.
But yeah, if we
All
got
right,
some
y'all.
folks in here, let's get some comments because this is a discussion first and a talk second. So, if we just want to talk to y'all, we can just do the podcast. We want y'all to
Tap
talk
in.
to us as well. You know what I mean? We want some interaction. Oh, I hear one of the babies.
Yeah. Yeah. My niece and my nephew
That's what's up, man.
running amok. But
This man finally got a nephew.
the first nephew. Shoot, what was I about to say? Yeah, man. Listen, thank y'all for tuning in. We're gonna start in about 3 minutes. That'll be about 20 minutes in. We're gonna start about 3 minutes with the main topic. Today we are talking double standards, specifically how double standards play out in society in regards to relationships amongst men and women.
I want to see
Because
how this goes over.
I feel like it's a topic that is very relevant in today's day and age and culture, especially specific to male and female relationships.
Right.
Um, I say that because there are a lot of talks right now about equality and liberation, and I think equality specifically plays alongside of what this thesis that people have regarding double standards is.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Give it a couple more minutes while we do a little shameless plug. Also, in the chat,
Plugging.
second link is to the Black in a Minute Flow page. On there is our centralized hub where you can find out many different pieces of information. Any events that we're doing, whether that be us together or solo. Also, that's where you can find the audio podcast for those of y'all who don't have time to watch the live stream or want a summarized version. This week is going to be a little bit different regarding that. There isn't any audio pod. All of that stuff, regular schedule will resume next week. Y'all
Mm-hmm.
know, if you've been following us since day one, y'all know how it goes. Thursdays are the live streams. Usually by Friday, the audio podcast, which is typically around 30 minutes or less. Sometimes we
Yeah.
go a little bit over. But that pod and all of that will resume next week.
Yes. I'm about to see if there's an app for this mug, so maybe I can hop back on when I'm out and about. I don't know.
I don't think they have an app, but you can use the web browser.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think they got that. Yeah, so I guess I'll just have to use the web browser just to have it.
We
Because
got
yeah,
a
I
comment.
won't be on here in this particular capacity for the whole duration.
Comment says, we got a comment. What do y'all think of this BBL epidemic?
BBL.
What is that? What's the abbreviation of that? What is that?
Yeah, I kind of need a. Hold on. I think I might know what that means, but I'll let you explain it just to make sure I'm not stupid. Um, but because I think I might know what that means because I've heard that acronym before, but I'm not sure. So yeah, if you could expand on that, because
Thank you for the comment as well, sister.
yes, Amari. Oh, okay, okay. Then it is what I'm thinking of. A BBL is like a Brazilian butt lift. That's some surgeries.
Oh, that's what it's short for. I didn't know
Okay.
that. I didn't realize that. Okay.
Honestly, the only reason I even know is because I know someone who had it done. So, and they were like
Wow.
documenting their journey and all that junk. But
Welcome to the stream, y'all. Please like, comment,
um,
share, subscribe.
I would say I've never really had a huge opinion on cosmetic surgery. Um, like I can understand certain cosmetic surgeries for practical reasons. Like I know of a couple people, a couple women who have had breast reductions because they have difficulties causing back problems and other things like that, you know. So I could see that. That makes sense. But I just wouldn't be in agreement with any surgeries or procedures that would cause additional issues for you later down the line. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's something that's sustainable, if it's something that's not going to harm your quality of life, so be it. I mean, do your thing. I'm not personally, you know, I'm more of, I'm more into natural. So that's just me. But we live in quote unquote the future where if people do want to make bodily modifications to themselves, they can. So, and it's not as dangerous as it was. So, if it's not harmful to your quality of life and to what you're trying to do and where you're trying to get, so be it. You know what I mean? Just don't do things in excess to where you could potentially harm yourself or you make life uncomfortable for you just to look good in a dress. You know what I'm
Whew. I
saying?
have sort
Because
of a
I know you
similar opinion to Nero.
probably.
I don't believe in cosmetic surgery for non actual medical reasons. So,
Right.
like, if you're just doing something for the sake of appearance, I'm not really with that. If it's for health reasons, I definitely understand. I think primarily, without going into some of the deeper, darker history of why some of these things exist today, um, I think in those cases, like what Nero explained, people having deformities and things of that nature, is very understood why someone would get that. If you just want to look a certain type of aesthetic or way, I don't really, you do you. Don't be knocking down my door for any money or moral support. I would much rather advise that you get therapy
Yeah.
than tell you to go get plastic surgery. I don't know. I think that's more of a band-aid thing. And based
Right.
off of the way modern day culture shows it to be, it seems to be that a lot of people who go into these type of reconstructive surgeries and augmentations tend to get hooked on the look, if you will. And I think that there's, of course, inherent dangers that come with that. So personally, from a preference standpoint, I don't care for it neither. I prefer my women natural
Yeah.
um, in practically every aspect. I'm not interested by. I'm not attracted to fake asses. Um,
I hate you. It's the way you said it. But Javar gonna say, "Oh, see, y'all gonna go live when I'm at work." I see how it is. Blame your boy. Blame
hey,
your boy.
no, I
I
put
thought
out.
he was
Look,
gonna do it yesterday in the
I
afternoon when everybody's
I
off work.
said Friday or it's Saturday. I thought Saturday made more sense for y'all.
I
Hey,
mean,
y'all, we gonna put
I
out a
ain't got
poll
no
regarding
issue
that
with it.
too for tentative schedules for other things.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay. Amari
ooh,
says, I believe it undoubtedly is always rooted from an egotistical and vain place that has nothing to do with the real issues someone is having with themselves. Yeah, I can see that. It I was introduced to a concept speak long that is good that you're speaking about that. It's called body dysmorphia. That actually might explain that. Let me get that definition. Okay. A mental illness involving obsessive focus on a perceived flaw in appearance. The flaw may be minor or imagined, but the person may spend hours a day trying to fix it. The person may try many cosmetic procedures or exercise to excess. Yeah. So I think there is a mental. psychological component to that. I'm not just saying that because I'm a psych major, so we think there's psychological component to everything. But no, seriously, this is actually a thing. Like I didn't know this was a thing for the longest time. This is an actual thing. Body dysmorphia is a real thing. Like there are people who truly do look in the mirror and their perception of what is in that mirror, they highlight the flaws of everything in it, right? You know what I'm saying?
Which is why my recommendation was exactly that. Like, I'd much rather you seek some help and take that money that you would have spent on the surgery and pay your therapist, because your therapist is cheaper than that damn surgery.
Look. You
See,
ain't
people
lying.
talk about
You ain't lying.
therapy being expensive, but actually, there's a lot of people who are not paying extremely high prices for therapy. A lot of people's insurance is covering a huge percentage of that cost for therapy, and a lot of times it is cheaper, whether that be today or in the long run, than whatever more inefficient way you're using to self-medicate yourself, which for a
Right.
lot of y'all, generally speaking, in this day and age, is
Yeah.
drugs and alcohol.
What's
So a
good?
lot of
What's
y'all are
good?
doing that instead.
Okay. Hold up. Kiara Rob 25 said, did y'all see that British man that is transracial? Bro, I thought that stopped
Mm.
after Rachel Dolezal. Hold up.
Um,
I did not see that. I'm kind of glad it
I'm
didn't.
not for sure. I feel like I did, but it's fleeting because I'm on vacation right now. So like I might have seen it, but like
I'm
he
not gonna
turned
lie,
himself into a
that
Korean.
sounds brain meltingly annoying. But he turned
What's going
himself
on, Cedric?
into he turned himself into a Korean. Bro, you can't. Is he in Korea? He turned himself into it. He can't even turn himself into
So
a Korean. You can turn
talk
yourself
about
into someone who looks like you're Asian. You can't turn yourself into a Korean, bro.
talk about culture appropriation.
Oh,
Um, but y'all,
okay.
we really want to get into the main subject at hand because I don't have Nero for too long. So just like y'all didn't
Ooh.
have me that long the other day on Thursday stream, Nero himself won't be there as well. No, he got the whole surgery. Okay. Yeah,
Oh,
you're more than welcome to share that video in the comments section. You're more than welcome to. For those of us who want to check it out, I'll probably check it out after.
I'm about to say that's wild.
But
He's going to, oh, I guess he's gonna move his family to. Is he gonna move his family to Korea? Is that what you're trying to say?
I think that's what I think that's what she's implying. Um, but
Okay, man. I
we
mean,
got about
it's
5-6 people in here. Y'all definitely thank y'all for jumping in. Please like this, comment, share. All of that is much appreciated. We want to get as many people into the discussion. And she said no, just him. So y'all,
oh, okay.
today's topic at hand is double standards. This was recommended to me by my older brother, but it was something I felt I was going to tackle anyway. So I was just like, why not now? I want to preface
Four
this
people
all by
watching on
saying,
YouTube and 2 likes. Let's fix that. Love it.
please. I also want to preface everything by saying, y'all, this ain't going to be too long of a discussion because it's mostly going to be me. Nero's here for limited time, and so I want to get his input regarding this as well. So to set the stage for what in regards to double standards, because there's a lot there to unpack.
Mm-hmm.
I want to throw out a couple opinions, and I want to hear you guys' take. It seems, at least amongst men and women, because I'm talking about relationships primarily between men and women, that in the land of double standards, there seems to be another recurring theme alongside of that. And that theme is, from what I can tell, equality.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, men and women feel that if we are to adopt an equality mindset or
Mm-hmm.
structure in society, especially when it comes to relationships, that double standards really shouldn't be a thing. Because it wouldn't make sense for there to be such a structure of a double standard if we're equal. And see,
Mm.
here's I guess where my opinion on it comes in, and that is I believe, and I can't say this with everything. So take this as a generalization and not a totality point. In that I think the reason why there's such a conflict with double standards is simply because men and women try to equate a lot of things to being the same for them. And I think that's why these conversations are constantly being had. Oh, well, that's a double standard, or well, this is a double standard. And the thing is that in my mind, men and women are not the same. We have similarities, but that doesn't make us the same. And I
Right.
think when you adopt a mindset that says that we are equal, naturally, anything that doesn't seem fair to one party but may benefit the other is written off as a double standard. And it's getting to the point where I think maybe we are essentially making every single thing a double standard when some of these
It's
things really just
it's an
highlight the
exchangeable
differences
it's an
between men and
interchangeable
women.
term. That's the
Yeah,
big, which we're having a
like,
lot of those as of late. We're having a lot of very interchangeable terms where they are not clearly defined and are just used haphazardly as
or any different, or basically any difference that comes into play becomes a double standard. And I'm
mm,
just like, well, wait a minute. If we all live in a world where we assume that life is not fair, which I think almost everybody in the stream would agree that life is not fair, then let's talk about what isn't fair. Because if we've already adopted a mindset that life is not fair, it's very hard to force the Trojan horse of equality into an unfair reality. I hope I'm making sense, but you know, it's very hard for those two things to live parallel amongst each other. Because then what has to happen is if life is unfair and we want to make it fair, then we have to have a way that we break down these inequalities. And the thing is can they all really be made equal? Clearly, they haven't been yet. Is life not fair or society not fair? Hmm.
mm,
Good question. I like that question.
mm,
I think since we're talking in the scope of society, I think society is what is changeable, right?
right.
Whereas life, for the most part, or our reality is what
Pretty
it
straightforward.
is.
Yeah.
It's pretty straightforward. You live and you die. But in between those two starting endpoints is your life and what you choose to do with it, your lifespan. I'm of the opinion, Amari, that life is what you make it. That's me. In that you have to make the best of what is bestowed upon you, regardless of whether you feel that comes from. Whether that's something as simple as it came from handed down to you through family, whether that's something you equate to God giving you. In either case, we have choices that we have to make. And the truth of the matter is society don't give a damn about your choices.
Yeah. I just pinned a I just pinned a question for everyone. The way you see it. But yeah, I think that oh you froze, I think, bro. But oh no, you still there. But yeah, I think one of the things is that yes, life is unfair, but society further exacerbates those unfairnesses, those deficient social deficiencies, and those differences amongst people, and makes it worse. Like it makes it to where okay, yeah, life's kind of unfair, but now you have it to where it's like life is so unfair that you're unable to properly live in any decent capacity. Whereas before, yeah, life is unfair to you because you have a couple problems here, a couple physical problems there, and maybe you're not as educated, or you're not this or that. And even that could be considered a societal disparity. The unfairness of life is something that does exist, but it's also something that could either be mitigated or exacerbated by the society we live within.
For sure. And, you know, that's the thing, because when we talk about double standards, you know, here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go.
Ooh, okay. I just seen that.
Um, Kiara said, it's okay for men to cheat. I'm not condoning cheating, but a hoe can't be turned into a housewife. Side chicks are now celebrated. Thought
I
culture.
condone that too.
But what about men? What about men? Things don't end differently for them. And I'm gonna read that. And before I even say anything to that, I want to say something to the other comment too. Life is made up of balance. All good has because the good wouldn't be good without knowing bad. Now, society, it seems like people are just making up shit as they go on. And see, that's the thing, right? If if we if we create a dynamic, if we live in a world where, you know, it's okay for one person to do one thing,
Right.
but the other person doing it is a problem, then there's two things that we can gather from that. Either A, the dynamics of how these things play out are differently for both parties, which is a possibility. Um, or B, it's not. But see, here's the thing. In one case, we're acknowledging differences that may lead to different results for different reasons. In the other case, we're not. And we are creating a standard that says no, everything should be graded along this scale.
Right.
The issue is that due to conditioning, learned behavior in our culture,
Mm-hmm.
it's almost like we're at a point, I don't want to say a point of no return, but basically we're in this limbo where we feel the need, especially our generation, millennial generation and beyond, to rectify what we consider past wrongs done by generations prior, society and civilizations prior. And the biggest question that comes from it is, how do we do it? Because clearly we haven't figured out a way that we feel is definite enough. Because we probably would have already figured it out. I mean, as
Right.
smart as our civilization has come to be today, I feel like they would have had to ship it out like 10, 20. Maybe I wouldn't have came into this world having to deal with this damn problem.
Oh,
But, you know, that's
Thank
reality.
Kevin later, aka Deontay, aka the Sabali podcast says, "Peace, my brothers. What's good, bro? What's good? Popping with you."
I also want to address what Amari said again. Life is made up of balance. All good. I want to read that comment again and I want to reply to it. All good has had because the good wouldn't be without knowing bad. Now, society seems like people are just making shit up as they go along.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
And with
pretty on
that,
the
right?
nose.
Right. And with that, and here's the thing though, when we talk about balance, I've said this a lot of times, but I think we have this notion that balance means equal. And
Yeah.
balance doesn't always have to be on a scale of equalness.
It is if you want to.
Balance
It's just not that E
is
word.
nah. Balance isn't necessarily about something being equal, but basically something being maintained in a healthy manner consistently, more so. Amari says, by definition, to me, a double standard would be a rule being applied to one type of group or people, and a different version of that rule being applied to other people.
Yes.
And see, that's the thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
If everybody's the same, then that shouldn't be an issue, period.
No, because it
Because
would apply to everybody
it
the
wouldn't
same
be it
exact
wouldn't be
way.
able to exist. Right.
Right.
Like it wouldn't be able to exist. So are these really double standards? Or are we complaining about how society treats us differently? Because see, here's the thing. We're only talking primarily in the scope of men and women. But if we
Mhm.
extrapolate this, if we blow this up,
Oh yeah,
we
yeah.
got a whole lot of double standards that we need to talk about.
Oh, absolutely.
And the
Because
thing is, these are
one
societal issues.
right. Because one big thing is Everybody's pretending. Yes. Ooh. Amari said, ooh, now that's a word. Balance doesn't equate to equality. Yes.
It
Okay.
don't.
Kiera Rob 25 said the good is never played long enough in society to harp on it to feel better. For example, a black man's death versus fathers who are paying their daughters' way through college and other amazing things. Yes.
Yes. Yes. You
Ooh.
right. You
Now
right
we're
is
talking
you
about
right
society
is
we.
white. Is
Woo.
this white? The white ball wall. Hey, but you're right though. Yes. It's like those two things are like viewed in two totally different ways. The black man death will be all over everywhere. The story, people will be like George Floyd, for example. No disrespect to George Floyd, rest in peace. But
Mm-hmm.
stories like that get put so high up where you do have stories like the other one where there's a single dad or whatever were paying their kids way through college. And it's like, oh, whatever, next.
Well,
And
this
that's
is
why I'm very, yeah.
positivity. What you learn is that positivity is not as immediately marketable or as viral, or rather, what I
No,
would
you
like
said
to
it right.
call pro social. Well, not just positivity, pro social behaviors. Pro social behaviors are not as marketable or immediately viral in the society we live in. More what people more like to see are things that are negative behaviors or non-positive behaviors, or things that may be considered, and I hate this word, toxic behaviors. As in, we like the messy stuff. We like when people act up. We like when people rebel. We like when people do things that don't pretty much equate to what is supposed to occur in society. We like to see that. We like to see counterculture. We like to see countercultural actions in certain contexts, because some countercultural actions people hate a lot, and there's a double standard there too. There's a double standard there. You know, that's where you get the difference between, and I won't even say what race, but you can guess. That's where you get the difference between a rowdy teen and a hoodlum.
Hmm. Hmm. An
A
example of double standard would be non people of color
Deal,
not being able to wear black hairstyles. Now, I'm not saying
bro.
black people wear white
Think for
hairstyles, but
yourself.
we can openly embrace cultures. And see,
Yes,
that's the thing. If we adopt a equality dynamic, if we
it
really
doesn't
try
work.
to impose an equality dynamic within society,
Yeah,
we can't half-ass it. It can't be under certain circumstances because then, by definition, that's not equality. That's privilege, and that is a problem. That's the
yeah,
problem that we claim we want to debt at the
right.
moment.
Okay,
It's just
Amari
like
said now
critical race theory.
that could be just because we know respect and how to respect culture. Well, and because we've also experienced what it feels like to have that culture ripped, twisted, and marred by other people. And Deontay said, "Thank that's a fact. Negativity brings in capital way more than positivity." Yes, you know how
Oh
many
yeah,
negative things I've
that's
heard
why the
many
news.
times
That's why
before
the
something
news is the
positive.
news.
Yeah,
That's why the
yeah,
news is the news.
yeah.
And it's very
And
easier for
it,
us as young people to
it's
not
starting to
watch it.
look, and it's starting to come out now. A lot of newscasters are starting to be whistleblowers, because some of them have gotten cut off or fired as a result of speaking out on discriminatory practices that are being implemented on them. And they've
Look at
spoken
the
out on certain
situation with
stories that
Ellen
they're not allowed to
DeGeneres.
talk about. Yeah,
Look at Ellen DeGeneres and the whole collapse of her television show and everything once the
yeah.
backstage politics started coming out.
Mhm.
Welcome
Oh,
to the
they had
Bravo
recorded
channel.
conversations. Oh, oh yeah, the Bravo Network. All
Welcome
negative
to the Bravo
behaviors.
channel. Go ahead, bro.
All negative behaviors behind black women looking trashy, but people are addicted to watching that drama and reenacting it now. Actually, to piggyback on that, there were two members, because look, thanks to the fact that I actually paid attention. Oh, Jesus, really? I didn't know that. RIP to that person. But the Real Housewives of Atlanta, There used to be a couple on there. There used to be a couple on there. Oh, a newscaster. Dang. Okay. There was one couple that used to be on there that I forgot. I forgot the guy's name. I remember the girl's name. Her name was Sean. And don't judge me. I used to watch it with my grandmother. But they when you looked on there, they were probably the least problematic couple on there, right? They didn't really get into it with nobody. They ain't had no problems with nobody. Everybody was more or less friends with them. If the drama popped up, they kind of backed out or didn't say nothing. You know, the most you seen about them was them talking about their family life with their kids and them getting a new chef or something, right? You know, they only lasted one season. They kicked them off after one season because they didn't produce enough. They weren't dramatic enough. It wasn't because of anything wrong they did. It wasn't because of anything problematic. They didn't find out anything on the husband like they have on certain ones that are on the network now. If you know, you know. I watch too much Lovely Tea. That's how I know these things. But literally because they were non-problematic. They were non-problematic. So as a result, they're like, oh yeah, we don't need you anymore because you don't make for good TV. Basically. You know what I'm saying? Um, That's a clear example of that. Even when you watch, I dare you to watch the recaps, not just of that, because that's one of the biggest ones, Love and Hip Hop and all those. If you watch the season ending recaps that they do, where they have them all sitting on the round table and old dude sitting in the middle and talking to them, if you notice that they do things that discussion leader, we'll call him, does things to instigate and start strife amongst the other participants, amongst the other people, because in almost every single one of them, a fight breaks out. Almost every
Yep.
single one of them, some sort of argument breaks out or some sort of dispute. And this is at
Yeah.
the end of the season after everything that went down. It's always like that. Okay, Amari says our
Amari said,
news is ran on fear and creating chaos because what does fear most often? It ignites your fight or flight instances. Yeah, okay, instincts to where you don't think rationally. I'm sorry, but look at COVID. No, you're right. You know how many domestic
mhm.
disputes came as a result of COVID because folks were stuck in the house with each other? And as a result, whatever issues they weren't talking about or weren't dealing with got exacerbated like tenfold. So, no, it's true. COVID has really demonstrated to a lot of us how much resilience and how much we can and can't take. That's just the truth. A lot, and
Facts.
a lot of us can't take a lot.
You know, and that's the thing. You know, when you start to unpack some of these things, you can really, you know, you have to start somewhere. So you know, it's always a principle of starting small. Start with your individual self, and then you can branch out
Mm-hmm.
to higher levels and wider uh, bases of people to understand some of these things. That's why
Mm-hmm.
when we talk, like it, you know, like I said, when we talk about double standards, if we're talking about double standards, then the only way double standards make logical sense across the board is when people are treated equal and they're not. But also some of the ways that we are treated, not all of them being fair, not all
Mm-hmm.
of them being just, but some of them have some have some sort of sensible base to that difference.
Right.
You know, we're not, what am I say? And people are stuck in the house. The only source of information was the news, a platform where everything was delivered in a panic demeanor. So why wouldn't someone be going crazy?
Yep.
Precisely. And one of the things that people do when they're crazy, they make rash decisions.
Yep.
We live in a money fueled economy. So when
They
it
were
comes
trying
to
to
money,
they were trying to stroke those impulse buying.
to
You did
get
a lot
people
of
right,
that.
impulse
You had a
buying.
whole lot of that. I'm gonna say this last thing and then I'm gonna dip off, but I like that you brought that up. It's crazy when your favorite YouTubers are delivering news and information to you on a pandemic in a more concise and more digestible manner and a more honest manner than the national news channels whose responsibility it is to do these things. Because see, the news networks were not created to talk about some random kid doing a jump shot at 3 years old. No, it was created for this, to inform the public when there are states of emergencies or issues of prominence that everyone needs to know, and maybe everyone can't find out because maybe their local network or their local area isn't privy to it. That's what the national news is for. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, speaking of C19, Kiara Rob 25 said, speaking of C19, bro, they be telling you about how the vaccines may be causing you problems and then turn around and say, go get vaxxed. Yeah, because they run the commercial directly afterwards. And sometimes it's the same dude saying the commercial. Oh, God. Thank God we're not
Mm-hmm.
monetized. Oh, man. If YouTube starts tweaking right now, it's probably because we said it. Because they can't say the real word. They get mad about that.
Oh
But
yeah,
yeah,
I want to get
I'm gonna go
flagged
ahead
and
and
dim.
dip out off here. I'm gonna try and pop back on if you guys are on here, or I'll just pop in through the comments. Peace and love to everybody. Appreciate y'all. Have a great day.
Thank you,
Hopefully,
brother.
we don't have torrential downpours today because I don't need that mess. All right, then, y'all.
Peace, bro. Nero Angelo, ladies and gentlemen. So continuing on, like COVID, we had a lot of ridiculousness come out of COVID. And in some aspects, there were definitely a lot of I don't want to say double standards, but let me tell y'all something. For those of y'all who remember, it was funny in a way, in a very ironic way. I remember when when the announcements first came in like March and the beginning of April. And I kid y'all not, I remember walking past a group of white people and overhearing a conversation, and I'm paraphrasing, but there was one part that stuck out to me that I definitely heard. And the piece was, the part was, from what I've heard, they can't really get it. And, I kept walking. I didn't butt into the conversation. I thought it was a very interesting thing that I heard because, my mind runs wild when I hear things in general. I do a lot of people watching. And as soon as I heard that, there was only one thought that came to my mind. Okay. And, if you know, then you know. I don't really have to explain it. And so, in the vein of double standards, it's important that we remember that if we choose to adopt a dynamic that says that all of these things, these differences, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they just saw a bunch of memes on Black Twitter or something of Black people talking about getting superpowers, and that was the logic. I have no idea. I have no idea. Sometimes other cultures do take some of our jokes quite literal. Like, I don't know too many Black people that actually thought they were completely immune to coronavirus. I don't. From my understanding of it, we was all just making a joke about getting some superpowers. Some people actually believed it, though. Some Black people, but I'm sure there was more people from other races and cultures that actually believed that, especially when initially, we didn't hear much about a lot of our people coming down. It wasn't until the numbers really started showing that it kind of opened up the discussion to the seriousness of COVID. And that took a couple months. Y'all remember when they had the ticker and stuff? How many people was dying and everything? As you can see, they don't have that ticker anymore. They don't care to let y'all know in this day and age that people are still dying from COVID. They don't. Because why? Because they've already got out of the situation what they needed to get. So now the focus has been shifted to up in the vaccination numbers. They don't care to let you know that people are dying anymore. So it's safe to say we really don't know how many people are dying. And it's safe to assume that the vaccine ain't saving people from dying. If you're smart, you know that doesn't mean that they're not going to die from it. That don't mean that they can't get it. It's just a resistance. That's why I'm pro-choice regarding that anyway, because people can have adverse reactions to vaccines that don't just last 2 weeks. But that's another conversation for another day. When we talk about double standards, though, in terms of men and women, what first has to be a conversation that had is, are we truly the same? And if we are the same and not similar, then in what ways? I think when we have these kind of conversations, though, what may end up happening is that for the most part, there'll be disagreements. And I think that besides people just wanting to be right, what those disagreements really highlight is literally the differences in terms of our thought processes, like why we think the way we think, what fuels our decision making, etc. I'm not getting into specifics of things that I think are double standards because I don't have too many direct ones off the head that we could talk about, or at least that I want to talk about now, because I am limited on time. And when we do have a more sit down traditional style conversation about relationships and double standards, I need women too, and not just in the chats in person. So that is something that will come in the future because I want to have these conversations at a round table. But I also want to make sure we're having the conversations in a manner that I consider healthy. Because one of my issues with a lot of the other outlets that exist currently that have these discussions amongst men and women is that a lot of times all it is people shouting at each other. And see, I'm very good at filtering through the noise and the bullshit. Like, you know what I'm saying? And when I get in there, what I'm hearing is, I don't think like this. You should think like this because I think like this. And the way you think is ridiculous. That's a lot of what I'm hearing. And I'm not just hearing it from women, I'm hearing it from men too. And so what I've came to the collective opinion is that we speak different languages, men and women. And I know that might seem crazy for some of y'all, but I think that's true. And I think that we don't have a communication issue because everybody loves saying they got a communication issue in a relationship. I think in actuality, what we have is a understanding issue. We keep trying to attribute how we think the other person acts based off of how we act. And what a lot of people aren't realizing is that we're that different, that we can get to the same destination, but take different routes. And that's okay. That's okay. It's weird that people think that in a world where we're biologically different, that there's no possibility that we couldn't be different in the head. That's crazy as hell to me. But this is the reality we live in. Kiara says, yeah, I work at a hospital. We haven't changed the questions, and people are still telling us I'm fully vaxxed. They're not aware that they can still get and die. Exactly. Why did y'all stop wearing a mask? Were y'all that anti-mask that you had to be pro-vax? What? What? I'd rather be pro-mask and anti-vax. And I'm not anti-vax, I'm pro-choice. Yeah, when we have that conversation, we need to not generalize and understand to each his own respectfully. And we can do that, but I think to have a centered discussion, we have to talk about both because this is my issue with a lot of people in general. Everybody wants to be the exception to the goddamn rule. And the fact of the matter is, everybody is not. Generally speaking, a lot of people are part of the sheep, are part of the herd. And they need to be addressed as much as do the other people. And see, that's the thing. Everybody has their preferences at the end of the day because it always trickles down to you, the individual, right? But before you know me as the individual, you might want to know that since I am a male, naturally born, because I got to say that nowadays, there are things that are specific to me being a male, just like there's things specific to me being black. It doesn't mean that that's all there is to me because I'm more than those things. But to start, You have to start somewhere. Before you know me as an individual, you know me as a random person. You know what I'm saying? Like if you just seen me on the street and never seen me before, the first two things you might pick up on is I'm a male and I'm black. So let's start there. And then we can trickle down to the other things. As you get to know a person more and more, you can find out where they lie on that spectrum. Most people are generally a certain way with a few exceptions. That's everybody. And we're entitled to our individuality. So as long as we understand the fact that not everybody like you, and that's important. Not everybody's like you. And that's why, like I said, when we have these discussions, we gonna get the general points out the way. But see, then we also need to talk about individual, because one of the things that play into how we choose to move in the world is our own experiences, right? So some of us, we all come from different walks of life. After you separate the fact that I'm black and the fact that I'm a man, then you have to get to know me individually. Because most of us agree on most things. And then there's the other things that we don't. And chances are, when you're dealing with people, you're likely dealing with the majority of people. Not everybody's finding unicorns out here. And that's important. Because, some of us, when it comes to our preferences and things like that, we have very unrealistic views and thoughts about that. Excuse me if the mic caught that. I haven't ate yet. But before we get to that point, we have to establish the baseline so we know where the conversation is headed. Because, of course, everybody want to be like, well, everybody not like that. Well, of course not. But the exception to the rule doesn't change the rule. So once we figure out who's not like that, if we can actually do that, and we get to the specifics and talk about those things, where do we go from here? Because if we're of the opinion that the minority, the exception to the rule, is the better place, or ideally where we would like people to be at, how do we get them from their more general, for lack of a better term, sheeple mindset to this other? And is that necessary? Because there'll be plenty of people that'll be apprehensive. Nah, I'm not doing that. Nah, I'm cool with where I'm at. The popular kids in school were the popular kids in school for a reason. Just like the outcast or the nerds or whatever name you want to attach to them were the nerds for a reason. If you happy where you at, do you, and deal with what comes with it. If you're not, maybe there's something that you need to assess or change about yourself. But they both exist. And if we're going to have a wholesome conversation, we got to talk about both. But yeah, when we really get into the relationship series, y'all, these are just little light spoilers. I can't wait, because one of the biggest things that's on my mind right now, especially being a single black man in America, is men and women dating, marriage, and beyond. And how do we get each other, especially within black culture, on code to where we can be in this place of at least more balance and harmony, like what we used to, like what our generations prior were. That translates to breaking generational curses. It translates to overall better health. It translates to, businesses, black-owned businesses, and so on. These are the type of building blocks that will ensure that we can help restore our culture to what it should be and help it to progress further on after we're no longer here. Because until proven otherwise, and ain't nobody died, went to heaven or hell, and came back and told me what it's like, this whole little experience, y'all viewing me on this camera, this could all be limited, for all we know. For all we know, when them lights go out, they go out until proven otherwise. So it's important that we have a lasting impact on the people that we care about and society as a whole in order to keep us moving forward. Somebody had to die for me to be here. Somebody had to be enslaved for me to be here. That's important. in the sense that in modern times, what that means for me is I need to put in some level of work, do my contribution to society, to humanity, especially in the case of Black humanity, and keep it pushing. So, I'm a leave a few pieces of information, just general things like that. One, I think it's posted at the top of the chat. There are links to our merchandise. We got merch. We got shirts. We got tank tops. We got hoodies. We got pullovers. I'm thinking about leggings. I just have to figure out the margins, profit margins for leggings, because the material that the leggings would be more expensive, because I just don't really have the option to just do whatever Ross is selling for like $2. That's no knock to Ross. I'm just saying. So trying to figure out a good profit margin, because I've gotten some feedback regarding other product categories and options such as leggings for the ladies. We already got a hoodie on there. We got a coffee mug on that mug. Put some black in a minute. Put some coffee in your black in a minute mug. I was about to say put some coffee in your black in a minute. We got stickers. I think it's a poster on there. It might even be a blanket. I don't know. And there's going to be more products. I'm going to get some water bottles because it's summertime. Y'all need something to drink out of. Get y'all a little canteen on. The stickers right now, I gotta fix the stickers because they're coming out just like a big black square with the red clock in the middle. And I wanted to do something like die cast where it's just the clock, But yeah, we need to what we want to do here at Black in a Minute is create a space where people can talk. I mean, that's what this started out as, a space for me and Nero Angelo to talk. But we want to talk to other people too. That's why the live chat exists. That's why we will be doing call-in soon and actual group discussions. With the pandemic easing down, we're looking to do more in-person stuff, roundtable discussions. There will still be a mask requirement. I don't give a damn if you got a vaccination. I'm actually more worried about your ass because you got a vaccination. And I still don't want you coughing on me, regardless, respectfully. So that will be something. As far as how to keep up to date with everything that is Black in a Minute, we have a Facebook group, y'all, the Black in a Minute podcast. We're on Facebook. It is a private group. You can request to join, but we made it that way just because we want to protect y'all anonymity. And as far as Facebook and groups go, they can be a little annoying with how public they are. So we also thought about that too. So it is a private group, meaning it can't just be easily shared, but the content in there is all for y'all. And people can't just look in the group and see who you are and follow you. We don't want no creep-ish going either. That's primarily for the ladies, but, for the fellas too. I don't want none of that going. Also, we have the YouTube channel because some of y'all are watching this on YouTube and some of y'all are watching this on Facebook. So you can definitely go to the Black in a Minute YouTube page and subscribe. Please and thank you. Yes, as Kiera said, thanks for the likes and support. We appreciate you. Share this. Just because the live is over don't mean somebody might not get something out of this. We'll definitely have a deeper dive on double standards, though, because we got to talk about them because there's so many. It's not just relationships that this is happening with. It's happening with race, if we're being honest. I'm going to leave y'all with something to think about. There's a big conversation going on about critical race theory. And here's the thing. I'm in the middle on it because I'm able to look at another side of things. And that other side is I don't know that I would necessarily want something being taught in school that may make my modern children that aren't directly associated with a particular occurrence or viewpoint of a particular race being taught to them. For me, that would be the equivalent of my son believing masculinity is inherently toxic and being taught that. I'd have a problem with that because I don't believe that. And so I can understand why someone wouldn't want any type of rhetoric taught to their child that would make them think that they're inherently bad or problematic just because they're born a certain skin color. So think about that for a second, because that will be a topic that we talk about at some point, critical race theory, because it's not going anywhere. Juneteenth just became recognized as an actual holiday, so it'll definitely keep the conversation going when we talk about these things. Here at Black in a Minute, we talk about societal problems, our opinions on them, and possible solutions. So we talk a little bit about everything, whether it's COVID-19 and vaccinations, which we ain't fully got into, but we done brushed around the topic because it's ongoing, so there's no way you can really avoid it. Or stuff like double standards, or even what direction you supposed to put the damn toilet paper in the toilet paper roll. That's low-key a societal thing because some of y'all got that fucked up. But once again, I do want to thank you guys for tuning in to what has been the Black in a Minute podcast. For those of y'all who do not know me, once again, I go by the DarksKing Poet. My co-host who was on earlier and is a constant, his name is Nero Angelo. That's what he goes by. We are on all streaming and social media platforms. The links are in the chat, and I'll try updating any descriptions and captions and stuff. Yeah, I just had to say it, man. Shoot. Pineapples also don't go on pizza. But anyway, this has been a great stream. Thank y'all for tuning in. It was in the middle of the day. I tried to do it on Saturday because I figured everybody would be off instead of Friday. And I wanted to catch y'all before y'all got into y'all Saturday night madness. So anyway, look us up. You can do a Google search and find us, Black in a Minute. You can also look us up individually. The DarksKing Poet and Nero Angelo. Twin. I mean, technically the toilet paper thing is relevant because everybody decided to hoard the toilet paper. So if you hoarding toilet paper, you better be putting it on that toilet paper roll, dispenser, whatever the hell you got it in, the correct direction. Okay? Because my hands ain't got time to be doing this when I'm trying to get tissue to wipe my ass. But anyway, thank y'all once again for tuning in. Appreciate the love and support. The flow page is at the top. Just search the Black in a Minute podcast. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. If you want to listen to the audio podcast, which is the shortened version, that will be continuing starting next week. It's usually about 30 minutes. It's audio only, so you can play it in your car, play it on your stereo, play it while you taking a shower and washing your ass. That's what it's for. Catch up on those if you haven't. We're available on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Anchor, which is our main place. We're everywhere. We international, baby. But thank y'all once again. Appreciate y'all. Enjoy that Loki. I haven't really gotten to the Marvel television universe quite yet. Y'all know I'm mainly DC, so it take me a minute to get around the Marvel stuff, but I like superheroes. So I'm going to try to check that out. I got to watch WandaVision first. I know the footnotes of WandaVision. So, you know, after a certain point, you become such a nerd that you get it without completely watching it. But anyway, let me get off here. I won't keep y'all too long. Thank y'all once again for chiming in, hanging with us, and enjoying what is the Black in a Minute podcast. Peace out. Power.